Assessment of research and researchers has originated and developed over a long period of time. All methods and criteria of evaluation have their own relevance. They cannot and should not be changed lightly. Critical assessment of research and researchers is at the core of science. The work of a researcher, for example, collecting data, analyzing it, and drawing conclusions, only becomes recognized as science once it has been evaluated and accepted by the wider scientific community, typically through peer review. Peer review, where researchers assess each other's achievements, has especially developed over a long time. Although it has risks and problems, such as subjectivity and workload, it is rightly considered the most reliable way to evaluate research. Peer review is an essential part of the self-regulation and freedom of science. Alongside peer review, various metrics are used to support it. They can provide an overview of groups of researchers, such as those from a particular organization or field of science. As scientific publishing has become digitalized, it is relatively easy to measure the number of publications. However, metrics do not reliably indicate the impact of papers, especially their societal impact. A researcher's work is not limited to conducting concrete research. For example, working in the laboratory, reading literature, observing, conducting interviews and surveys, and publishing the results in scientific forums. Researchers often also teach and supervise theses, lead and mentor colleagues, communicate research results to a wider audience, and serve in various scientific responsibilities. All of this is valuable activity that can and often should be considered in evaluations. Quantitative measurement of such activities is particularly challenging and not even meaningful. When discussing making assessment more responsible, open science is one key factor. The importance of open publishing is widely understood, and data and methods are also becoming more open. Promoting open science does not directly lead to producing more publications and is not currently valued, for example, when comparing applicants' merits. To promote open science, it is essential that open science contributions are considered and that researchers can trust that this will be the case. Changing the culture of research assessment goes beyond new practices and tools. It requires a shift in how we value and evaluate research and researchers. This cultural change must be part of the self-regulation of science, not an externally imposed order. Embracing a culture of responsible assessment enhances the transparency, integrity, quality, and impact of research. This cultural shift ultimately benefits the entire research ecosystem, fostering science, innovation, and inclusivity.
But what does the cultural change in researcher assessment mean in practice? Here are some guidelines. The cultural change emphasizes a deep understanding of transparent and sustainable evaluation. We need to ask ourselves, for example, what needs to be evaluated and why, how to use assessment results, and how to communicate the purpose and process of the evaluation to ensure that all involved have a similar understanding of the assessment. Cultural change is largely about fairness. Researchers should be reliably informed about how they will be assessed so they can plan their careers accordingly. The change strongly supports diverse research outputs and practices, as well as open science by recognizing varied contributions, including citizen science and other kinds of community engagement. Responsible research assessment prioritizes qualitative judgment over quantitative metrics. Peer review remains central but could be complemented by the responsible use of quantitative indicators. This should be considered, for example, from the very beginning in appointment processes. To change the culture, it is crucial to foster an environment where diverse research activities are valued and rewarded. All institutions involved in assessments must commit to ongoing reflection and adaptation of assessment criteria. The commitment of policymakers, both at international and national levels, research funders, and the top management of the organizations is crucial. Management must also consistently and repeatedly express this commitment and encourage progress in the reform. Cultural shift must be supported with staff training and raising awareness. Collaboration and sharing of best practices among various institutions globally will drive the transformation. Every cultural change also faces resistance. This is by no means entirely negative, as every evaluation also involves potential harmful consequences. Concerns should be taken seriously and discussed dialogically. Cultural change is everybody's responsibility. Even small changes in everyday work start to have an impact over time. Key figures in promoting the needed changes are the professors who guide new generations of researchers. Support from the leadership is also important.